So today we are gathered to experience the workings of town meeting and have some fun. Have a seat.
I'm trying. I figured that might not always work.
It's a prop. Okay?
No, but it's a real microphone.
It is a real microphone,
Yes,
yes.
something
And
so
it
that
cannot
doesn't
be-
happen.
Yeah.
You gotta put something,
Put it out in there.
you know, it's $100. I don't mind. Thank you.
Kathy's blood pressure just went up.
It sure did, yeah.
Okay.
That works.
All right.
Yay.
Okay. I'm Denise Mason. I'm playing the part of the moderator who's elected every 3 years in town election. Please go easy if I make mistakes, which I'm sure I will make multiple mistakes. So but before we begin, please silence your phones. We've got 2 restrooms. One is over there. One is back there. I would prefer to go to that one. It's much nicer. If you haven't already, please sign up for our current newsletter. Our next conversation will be Meet the Candidates on April 26th from 3 to 5, place to be determined. We're hoping we can have here. And lastly, please make a donation that will help cover the cost of the delicious cookies and also our rental fee. I'm trying to...
Can you have a microphone? Yeah.
We don't have one
Okay.
that works, sorry.
Now, down to business. To my left is Pat Wright, who's representing the select board. To my right,
Denise, I think I'm supposed to be for that. Aren't I?
I'll introduce Judy. See, I made a mistake already. To my right is Judy Kundal, who's representing the Finance Committee. I'm going to pass it over to Lily right now so she can explain what we're all doing today, because obviously I don't know.
That is so not true. I will tell you all that we've all attended a number of town meetings, and until we started trying to do this, we had no clue how actually complicated it is. It's really interesting. But anyway, so I want to begin by talking a little bit about town meeting and why it matters. So before I explain the game, which I promise you I will, and this is a game and it's supposed to be fun, I want to talk about town meeting and why it's different and important. For much of our franchise, we elect someone to represent our values, okay? Like in the select board, Congress people, the governor, etc. But we do not have a direct voice. But in Deerfield, we have town meeting, and it's mostly in New England, though there are a few other states that have it. Town meeting is different. It is direct democracy. Your voice influences your neighbors' understanding, hopefully in a positive direction, not always, but your voice really matters, and your vote directly matters, and you set the direction that our representatives then follow for the next year. So when we go to town meeting, we are saying, this is what we value, and this is what we are going to pay for, and this is what we support, and this is the direction of the town for the next year. And then sometimes there are large decisions that affect the town for 30 years, such as when we vote for a new sewer system. So it's really important and it's really different. So the goal of today is for everyone to experience using your voice at town meeting. Because town meeting can be intimidating. There are a lot of people there. You don't know who most of them are. Some of them have very strong opinions, so you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say anything. But the answer is no. Open your mouth. Speak your piece. And people will start groaning, but don't give up. Okay, I'm just saying from personal experience. Okay, then believe it or not, sometimes we actually even have some laughs at town meeting. We do. So, it's always entertaining. It is never dull. So now I'm going to explain today's game, and it is a game, all right? So, each town meeting, we are given a warrant. And on your table, there are about 3 copies of the warrant. And on one side, it has the budget. And on the other side, because I'm a cheap Yankee and I use both sides of paper, we have the 2 citizens petitions. Citizens petitions usually come at the end of the warrant. The warrant is the collection of things that we vote on. And with the collection of things are articles, okay? So today we're going to be voting on our budget and these 2 citizen petitions, fictitious, pretend, not real petitions on the warrant. Okay, so now on each table there is a deck of cards that are called action cards. Can everybody take 1 card from the deck? And if there are leftover cards, take more than 1. Yeah, there should be plenty, there should be enough for a lot of people to have 2 or even 3, okay? All right, so each action card, can I borrow yours? You may. An example. So each action card has a front and a back. On the front, it will say town meeting boot camp, and then underneath it'll say something like budget hold, or Article 18, or Article 19, okay? On the back side, it has the instructions of what you are to do. And I'm going to walk through all the different cards so that we can make sure you understand what you're supposed to do. Every warrant article begins with the select board person reading it, and by saying, I move, etc.
I move.
There you go. Then the moderator asks for,
A second.
and that is there's a card out there. Yes, who has their seconds? Bravo! Shout second. So, this is one of the few times that you are allowed to actually shout from your seat without getting spanked by the moderator, okay? So look at your card and you can see which motion you are seconding. If you look at the warrant article and you look at your card, you should be able, and if you don't understand, there's somebody at each table from Engage who can help you make sure you understand which one you're yelling second for. Okay. So now, is everybody ready for us to move on along? Okay, then the first order of business is the budget. Budgets are done differently than other articles. The moderator will read each line of the budget, and we'll explain this in town meeting as well. And this is yet another time you can shout from your seat. And you can shout hold if you want that line item explained. Who has a hold card? Raise your hand. Okay, so do you look at the budget and make sure that you understand the line item that you're going to be yelling hold for, because what happens after you go through the whole budget, and the moderator again explains this, then the moderator will say who has the hold on the debt service, and that person comes up to the microphone and says, I am Lily Blake, South Mill River Road, and I want to know why, blah, blah, blah. And that's what you'll do. Okay? Then the finance committee responds, and the moderator will ask you if you're satisfied. Please be satisfied so we can go home. But in real life, you don't have to be, okay? You can say I'm not satisfied and ask for more explanations. That is the point of this. You need to be comfortable voting on what you're voting on. And the other thing you're going to find out is that there are a lot of other people who had the same questions you have, but they didn't have the courage to get up and say something. So you're exercising your muscles here. Okay. All right. So after the budget, we move on to Article 18. Raise your hand if you have a card for 18. We have a lot of them, right? Okay. Look at the instructions on your card and the warrant to be sure what you're asked. If you can't figure it out, ask the engaged person at your table. So on each table, there's also a piece of paper that has Article 18 pros and cons, Article 19 pros and cons, because you are just reading these articles for the first time. You don't have to use these. You can use your own opinion about a dog park or whatever, but these are here to inspire you should you need it. There is also, for Article 18, there are a couple of cards about an amendment for Article 18. Who has the amendment amendment for Article 18. There should be 3 of them, one to propose it, one for, and one against.
I have a second.
All right, who's got the Article 18? All right, who has the amendment? So here's a possible amendment. And who's speaking in support of Article 18 amendment? Here's some possible pros and cons. Are you in opposition? There you go.
Supposed to be in
Okay, of the amendment. No, that's Article 18. So wait, of the amendment. All right, who is speaking in opposition to the Article 18 amendment? Amendment.
This is, yes, when we get to that.
I know this.
Engage people, please look at the cards on your table because somebody somewhere is supposed to be speaking in opposition to Article 18 amendment. That's Article 18, not the amendment.
Oh, it's MA.
All right. Here you go. All right, there you go. Possible pros and cons. You don't have to use them. Use your own if you want. But those are just if you're being put on the spot here, okay? All right. So when speaking, so there are a number of you who have speak in support of and a number of speak in opposition to, and you'll see the pros and cons on the table. So you come up to the microphone, you say who you are, and you make your points. Now, in real life, the moderator will ask you not to repeat somebody else's point, but don't be afraid to do it because everybody does it all the time. But people will groan, so that's okay, so let's make it real, right? You're allowed to groan, but it happens, okay. So then we do the Article 18. There's going to be a card that says call the question for Article 18 amendment. Okay, for the amendment. Calling the question is when you say, I have heard enough, can we just move on? But you need to come to the table. However, very often in town meeting, people shout it from their seat and then the moderator does her thing. So just so you know, you have your choice whenever you have a call the question card, behave as you like to behave. You're all grown-ups. Okay, so then we go on to Article 19. All right. Who has Article 19 cards? Speak in favor and in, okay, excellent. So now that's basically the same thing, but we have 2 special cards. So there are 2 taboos in town meeting. One is, do not speak longer than 2 minutes. And the other one is, you may only speak to an article twice, okay? Both of these are broken all the time. However, somewhere out there, somebody has a card that says, call the point of order, the speaker hasn't spoken longer than 2 minutes. Who has that card? All right, you get to have some fun. All right, so who has the card about speaking longer than 2 minutes? All right, so if you look on the 19 instructions, it says for the speaker, begin by saying your family has lived here for many generations. Okay. We're making this as realistic as possible. All right? But have fun with it. And you can go blah, blah, blah. And then whoever's got somebody else out here has point of order, the speaker speaking longer than 2 minutes. You shout that from your seat, point of order. Okay?
Spoken twice already.
Mine is spoken twice already.
Oh, you're twice away. Who has to speak longer than 2 minutes? Point of order! Do you have to speak longer than 2 minutes?
I have to speak longer.
Oh, Deb, all right. So look at the pros and cons of Article 19, and there you'll see there it says.
Again, it refers to my family.
There you go. That's all right. Very good. See, I'm glad we got that cleared up. Okay, so those are just the weird ones. Okay. All right. So basically, the moderator walks us through the whole process. As long as you understand what your actions are, and I think that is that. So the amendment person has the amendment, the pros and cons, everybody understands about talking. And I think that now it's time for me to turn it back to the moderator and let's have some fun.
Thank you, Ms. White. Okay. We haven't figured out this will be quite entertaining today. All right, so I'm going to just recap two nights.
Excuse me, I can't hear.
Oh my God.
Well, I promise
I'll try and shout, okay?
Yes,
me
Please.
you can move up here.
That's okay.
No, she can't, she's talking with that table. No.
All right, I'm going to do it again. Down to business. To my left is Pat Ryan, who's representing the select board. To my right is Judy Kundal, who is representing the finance committee. The front table is usually populated with these two groups: the town attorney, town accountant, town clerk, and town administrator. At town meeting, we come together as the town's legislative body to vote on the warrant, which is a list of articles that outline the decisions before us. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say, can you hear now?
I can, thank you.
You're welcome. Today we are going to walk through the process of voting on a couple of articles in our fictitious warrant. Just for anybody who's watching this online, this is fictitious. It is pretend, it is not real, okay? So we don't have any, because I don't read Deerfield now and hear people flipping out. Okay. All right. So today we're, on each table, there's a copy of the small, I think Lily already described all of that. Okay, at check-in, you should have received an index card, okay? Hopefully everyone has one. If you need to, write your question down, we may use them later on. Okay. As moderator, I will guide us through the process just as moderator does at town meeting. Please take turns performing your actions so that everyone gets a chance to use their voice. I think we're all set with that. Any questions? No? Okay, so let's get started. I'd like to formally open town meeting, March 2026. We have a quorum. I've examined the warrant and everything is in order. Normally we say, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, but today we're skipping that as much as we're doing much of the preamble. So this is the opportunity for you to speak and vote. The people in this room will determine Deerfield's future for the next year. So town meeting is run by the town bylaws and a publication called Town Meeting Time. It's my job to enforce what's going on, what's been established by the town. If you have questions as to what's going on, please raise your hand and say point of order, and we can talk you through it. The warrant will give you notice of what's being voted on, but you're voting on the motions, not the warrant. So motions will be read, someone will second them, and someone will then read and explain the motion. I'll then open the floor for questions. When questions have been satisfied, we'll take a vote. If you wish to speak, come to our mic. It's a fake mic, so speak up.
It's a real name.
And you can only speak to it twice. Please do not repeat points already made. So questions are directed to me, the moderator. If there's a question about the motion, I will direct it to the appropriate person. Try and be brief and meaningful and no applause. All right. I move that the reading of all articles be waived, and as moderator, I can summarize instead of reading the entire article.
Section.
All right. Okay. A show of hands, I'm taking a vote. All for? All opposed?
Yeah, that's right.
Motion carries. Okay, typically there are a number of housekeeping articles that are also voted on collectively prior to the budget, but in the interest of time, we're going straight to the budget. So if you want to stop on any item, just yell out, hold, and we'll come back to it. If there is no hold, the item is considered accepted. So I will now read budget. The FY 2027 omnibus budget is education. Deerfield Elementary School, $5 million requested, $5 million recommended. Frontier Regional School, $4 million requested, $4 million recommended. Frontier Regional School debt service, 0 requested, 0 recommended.
Hold.
Frontier Regional Transportation, $100,000 requested, $100,000 recommended. Franklin Tech Assessment, $600 requested, $600,000 recommended. Franklin Tech Debt Service, $20,000 requested, $20,000 recommended. We're going to move on to the Snail Cultivation Department. Dwelling accessories, $2,750 requested, $950 recommended. Snail cultivation waste removal, $750 requested, $750 recommended.
Hold.
Snail cultivation, ambiance music. $450 requested, 0 recommended. All right. So I'm going to,
Point of order. Could you please explain to me the source of all the capital expenditures as recommended, and what the origins of the capital expenditures are?
Those numbers are created in combination with the various departments and their budgets and their planning for the next year.
And if I remember correctly from previous meetings, I brought that up on purpose. If I remember correctly from previous meetings I attended, we're given a pamphlet which has a lot of explanations in it. Is that correct? A stapled together
The warrant.
group of pages.
Right, the warrant.
Yes, in real life, yes.
Good. All right.
this is fake life today.
But that's very good use of your voice.
I'm trying not for a part.
Moderator might be up for it. So are you satisfied?
I'm sorry?
Are you satisfied?
Yes, sometimes.
All right. Okay, so let's see. And that was the whole for the debt service?
No, that was just his
All
own.
right. Okay, who would like to speak to the whole on the debt service?
So much. Why the big change?
May I have your name?
Oh, sorry.
and your-
I didn't follow the instructions. Emily Gaylor, 31 Grave Street. Why the big change?
For which one?
The debt service?
The debt has been paid in full.
Right. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Right. Move on to the next. The next hold was the snail cultivation dwelling accessories. Who would like to speak to that?
Who had the hold? Who did the hold on the
Dwelling
dwelling? That was
accessories.
dwelling accessories, wasn't it?
Mine was waste.
Oh, waste.
I think it was Laura.
Who was it?
Oh, she might have left. Did she leave?
Yeah.
I mean, she did leave.
That happened.
Did she leave her cards?
Right there?
No, that's 19. All right, well, I'll ask the question.
Who would like to speak to that?
I'd like to speak to 10 things. Haley Dwight, South Mill River Road. I would like to understand why the amount increased it so much from the prior year, and and also why the recommended amount was so much lower than the requested amount. Thank you.
Ms. Kundal, Finance Committee.
The number of snails has grown. And the proposal was to prevent stress from overcrowding. But research is still being done, and now is not the time to be adding extra expense until the research is complete.
All right, the next hold is.
You're gonna ask me if I'm
I'm
satisfied?
sorry, are you satisfied?
Hardly. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Dwight. The next hold was on snail cultivation waste removal. Who would like to speak to that?
Yeah.
It's on, it should be on your card about what you can ask, right?
Just a boot camp.
No, waste.
Oh, please, yes. My name is Randy.
No,
gonna
please
go
come
to-
to the
Oh,
mic.
sorry.
This is why we
Please
need
come to the
practice.
mic, your name, your street.
Hello, everyone. My name is Randy Francie. I live at 5 Meadowwood Drive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, my question is, why the big jump in cost?
Ms. Kundal, Finance.
As the number of snails has grown, so too has their waste, which must be cleared daily. And it makes wonderful compost for the garden.
Are you satisfied with that?
Yes, thank you, moderator.
Right. Okay, so let's see. Pat? Okay, that's you.
You have last one more, there's one more comment, isn't there?
No,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Music.
The snail cultivation, ambiance, music. Who would like to speak to that?
No, there's two. You're
Oh,
good.
there's two.
Oh.
Something wrong with
Marty Hutchinson, Hathaway Road. What benefit does music provide to snails?
Ms. Kundal, Finance.
They create more compost. As part of the project last year, one section of snails was segregated and listened to rap music from a staff playlist. These snails were 20% larger at the time of harvest, so the request is for equipment to expand the music to all habitats and to pay for a music subscription. But because the reception to snails has been mixed, we feel this is not the time to make them larger.
Are you satisfied?
Are you satisfied?
Point of order. Who wrote these scripts?
You can guess.
Very intelligent and creative, Ms. Dwight.
Good job.
Everybody is satisfied. I move to appropriate $9,721,700 to the budget.
You missed accessory dwelling, but that's okay.
In favor?
Oh,
This is
was there a second?
voting in the budget.
Voting in
Second.
budget, favor.
Oh, second.
Opposed?
I don't want to. Yeah, it's always.
Motion carries. Ms. Ryan, will you please read the next article, number 18?
Article 18, restore the ball field. This is a citizen's petition. I move to see if the town of Deerfield will vote to authorize the select board to approve $5,000 from town funds to restore the area currently used as a ball field on the municipal lot parcel 168-140 on the assessor's map to its natural state.
Do I hear a second? Who would like to speak to this article?
I shall. We White South Mill River Road. Actually, you're only ever supposed to address the moderator. It feels weird. But this article, I want you to hear me. So this article addresses the need to remove the ball field to make the area available to the entire community and a dog park. Additionally, it will replace the knotweed and other invasives with native plantings along the brook, making a lovely community space.
Would anyone like to speak to that?
Get up, I know. If you have the amendment, go to the end of the line, so that comes a little later.
Bruce Holden, North Main Street. I'd like to speak in opposition to Article 18. What would happen if Article 18 didn't pass and 19 does? Are we building a dog park over top of the currently existing ball field? Or what's the outcome there?
That's our I'm a citizen, so I have to answer that. So you would ask me to answer that, right?
Would you like to answer that as what?
Yes, well, if this article doesn't pass, but 19 does, then we will have to get the funds to prepare the field from other sources.
Simmer down.
Oh my God.
I'm in opposition of the article.
Pam from North 37 Graves Street. I want to speak in opposition to Article 18 because my children like to play softball and I want to
They
make
may
sure
call
they're
me
going to have a
for-
place to play.
I don't have to
Although
speak.
I think a dog park is a good idea, but I think you can put someplace else.
And the people who are there, not supposed to.
Can the audience please let us speak so we can hear everyone at the microphone? Thank you.
I'm in Edinburgh, Raven Lane. I am speaking in support. Frankly, I hate baseball. And I say, let's use this park for everybody.
My name is Janice James, and I live on 92 South Mill River Road.
Speak louder, please.
Janice James, 92 South Mill River Road. And I support Article 18 because it seems like we have enough ball fields in town and we could use a place to bring our dogs, as long as there are poop bags, and have people come around and congregate and socialize.
Tim Milchi, 330 Greenfield Road. I'd like to propose an amendment to the article.
Tim, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you guys have opposition or support of the article itself?
Yeah, I tried to let them go in front
Okay.
of me.
Are you speaking to the amendment or the article?
Is there an amendment now?
I'll go back.
Not yet. Are you speaking to the amendment or the article?
I'm opposition to the article.
All right, so you go first.
I'm opposition.
Okay, and then, thank you, Tim. All right, so pretend Tim didn't happen.
I'm a little confused about my point of order. Mary Ellen Sweetland, 22A Snowberry Circle, previously at River Road. It says here that this is a con, but I think it's a pro, but I'm going to read it anyhow. So.
That's to the amendment.
You handed me this earlier.
That's for the, when you're talking about.
I think that this is a horrible thing that we should not do.
There you go.
That's it. I don't have anything to read.
Amy Clancy Meadowwood Drive, I'm in opposition
What
to
she did
this
is
amendment.
Sorry.
Anyway, the reason I'm in, the field is uniquely situated in the heart of town, so children and parents can get together and play games. Thank you.
Tim Milchi, 330 Greenfield Road. I'd like to propose an amendment to the article. Since DA funded the creation of this I think we should ask them to spend the $5,000 rather than. I move
No,
that
that wasn't the amendment though.
we- I'm not gonna go by what you wrote.
Okay, all right, you do you, but you have to write it then, because it has to be written and handed to the moderator.
I know.
Because I gave you something that was written.
Well, no one gave it to me. Where is it?
The amendment to the article.
Where is it?
I gave it to you, and it's on a separate piece of paper that it says
I am
amendment.
not following rules.
It's our amendment to 18.
So which one of these things am I reading?
So you're going to read, tell the moderator you want to propose an amendment to Article 18. Okay. So the amendment for two is this only goes into effect 1920. And then because, no, he has something about like,
I figured out what I'm supposed to do.
He was messing up the flow and he did the job. Yeah. Just like realized.
Madam Moderator, I would like to propose the addition of the following, which is written down as required. This article to go into effect only if Article 19 is passed by town meeting.
Second.
And then hand it to the moderator. But be prepared to answer the questions. If people have questions.
I'm going to read the amendment to see if the town of Deerfield will vote to authorize the select board to approve $5,000 from town funds to restore the area currently used as a ball field on the municipal lot parcel number 168-140 of the assessor's map to its natural state.
But this to only go into effect if the amendment.
This article to go in effect only if Article 19 is passed by town meeting.
Did somebody, all right, so then the.
I'm going to ask Mr. Kilchie to please explain your amendment.
Where's that part of the script?
It's in the piece you handed to him. But you don't have to, I mean, the top part?
Oh, so the thing I
It's
propose
not
is
in the
down
right
here and
order.
the thing that, okay. Yes, so we don't want to lose the ball field and have nothing in its place. Does that make sense?
That's good.
All right.
Any other comment?
That's why
Any
you put the
discussion?
Is there any discussion?
There should be one opponent to the amendment and there should be one proponent of the amendment.
There's one proponent.
Go for it.
Luckily, I was preceded by Madeline McCormick, Eastern Planning. And I am speaking in favor of the amendment because we would just be left with a field if it doesn't pass, if Article 18 does not pass. Is that right?
Beautiful. This is another test.
Oh.
Alright, somebody somewhere has an opposition to amendment on Article 18, and I suspect it's over at that table.
Has a opposition?
Opposition
Yeah.
to amendment.
Just to the article, not the amendment.
Well, I'll speak of that. So I oppose this amendment because I believe that that field should be restored regardless, and it would make a lovely community space, even if people decide they don't want that to be a dog park. Now, somebody should have a card that says, call the question for the amendment, for the amendment.
I have called the question.
In order to call the question, you have to come come up to the mic, please.
So there you go.
Sir.
Bruce Dolan, North Main Street. I'd like to call the question.
I second.
Point of order?
Okay, for
Oh,
this,
we got a point of order. Madam
Point of
Moderator.
order. I think the person who called the question was not called upon first, before he called the question. In a town meeting, people do say, call the question, call the question. And sometimes they're recognized by the moderator. That's improper.
Correct.
The person has to be recognized first, be given the floor, and then on the floor they say, I call the question.
So that's why we had to do that. Yep.
That's what we
Exactly. Exactly.
FYI, I was not the creator of this game.
Point of order, is that passing the buck?
Madam Moderator, point of order. The Article 18...
Come to the microphone, please.
Oh,
Sir, please come to the microphone.
This happens in real life, right?
State your name and your street.
Hi, my name is Matthew Jaded. I live at 36 Sawmill Lane. This article says to see if Deerfield will vote to authorize. I would question when the ball field was first constructed. What did it cost when it was constructed? And are we very close to the original construction date? And are we spending or asking to spend $5,000 in a masturbation of the town checkbook? That's all.
Yes.
So we had a second on calling the question. We did.
All right, we need a 2/3 vote to call the question.
So this is whether we approve the amendment.
No, this is to call
Call
the
the
question.
On the amendment.
This is why we do this, because that's what gets weird, is we're
Yes.
voting on calling the question, that's it.
Okay.
About the amendment.
Not the amendment.
In favor? Opposed?
It's always so.
Motion carries. Now we're voting on the amendment, not the article, and this only needs a majority. So, how many in favor?
Spoken
And how many opposed? Motion carries. Explain this. Okay, now.
Point of order. Did you look up to count those? Just sit there, just decide.
I'm shocked that you questioned. Is there any more discussion on the article itself, if amended? I'll read the amendment for the vote.
Does somebody have to call the question for Article 18?
Okay, we're fine. Motion carries. Okay. Ms. Ryan?
No, we have to vote on the article.
We have to vote on the whole article now.
Yes.
All right, now we're voting on the article. Okay. Is there any more discussion on the article itself?
Madam Moderator, I've forgotten what the original and now the amended was all about. Could you please, once again, read the article as amended, just so I'm clear what I'm voting on?
It's really good.
The article as amended, to see if the town of Deerfield will vote to authorize the select board to approve $5,000 in town funds to restore the area currently used as a ball field in the municipal lot, parcel number 168-140, on the assessor's map to its natural state. Once again, this article only goes into effect if Article 19 is passed by town meeting.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
You are welcome. Now we'll take a vote. In favor?
You just want to be
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yay! That's supposed to.
All the applause. Ms. Ryan, would you please read the article, next article, number 19?
Article 19, Dog Park Citizens Petition. I move to see if the town of Deerfield will vote to authorize the payment of $10,000 to build a dog park on the municipal lot, parcel 168-140 on the assessor's map. This park to be maintained from membership fees, managed through key card access to the park.
Second.
Right, who would like to speak to Article 19?
Hi, this article seeks the funding to develop a dog park in the heart of our community. The park will take approximately the same space as the infield, plus about 30% of the outfield. This will return most of the outfield area to the entire community. The dog park benefits both dog owners and the rest of the community. It is self-funded through membership fees. It will draw people from other communities to exercise their dogs and socialize with other dog owners and people enjoying the revitalized parkland. Local businesses will benefit from the dog owners spending time in the central village. Feces cleanup is the responsibility of the dog owners, and volunteers will ensure compliance. The membership fees will go to liability insurance and equipment for the volunteers to maintain the site. The $10,000 will be used for fencing, hygiene stations, leash posts, water dispensers for humans and dogs like we have at the Leary lot, agility items such as tunnels, ramps, low platforms, and climbing structures for dogs of all sizes, benches, and shade. The site will need to be graded to reduce mud as well.
3 Wisconsin, Conway Road. I oppose this dog park because of the key cards. I think it's an invasion of my dog's privacy. And I'm not able to resist the word of dog park, but key cards bring the electronic record of my dog's access to this local service. I don't think that's right. So that's why I chose Article 19, that you moderate.
Louder?
Oh, I have to speak louder?
Yeah, just turn around so we can. Yeah, if you turn around, just turn around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, my family's lived here for a long time. We've been here for about, I think, 30 generations. We were here even before the indigenous people were here. And you know, so I've always loved this town on that account, and as you undoubtedly know, and you know, it's so funny because my mother and my father met at Frontier. They actually, well, then I think they were actually under I think they were in the high school gym, under the seating, you know, where you kind of meet up and couples get together. And, oh, all right, okay, I'm going back to the thing. I'm in favor of I want us to have a dog destination in the valley. I'm thinking Go for it.
Please wrap it up.
Oh, okay, well, I'm thinking about a parkour space for pups, as, you know, they need exercise like that.
Thank you.
But I didn't get to finish all the reasons. It's going to be a dog destination for the valley, and add to our economic vitality and vibrancy, which isn't a bad thing.
And, you know, the other thing is there could be like lemonade stands from the children.
All right. Is there like a police officer or something that escorts people? I could.
Janice James, South Mill River Road. I'm speaking in support of Article 19. I think it's a great thing to have a dog park, and it'll bring people together, and I love dogs.
Okay, Barry Fanbucker, Baker Lane, and I have a question for the Finance Committee. Why don't they support Article 19?
The dog park would have a negative impact on the town budget. The cost of services are too much to be maintained exclusively by volunteers, and the town employees would be required.
Debbie Downer. I'm Julie Caswell, 248 River Road, and I was originally in favor of this proposal or article, but I have changed my mind, and what I really object to is it being a membership setup. I think facilities that are presented in the town should be free for everybody to use and not have a barrier that you have to pay a membership
Janice James again, South Mill River Road. I'm speaking again as another point of supporting the dog park, because dogs have been shown to lower people's blood pressure, and that's good for our health.
Annette Van Becker, Baker Lane. I have a question for the Finance Committee. What was the committee vote? How many were for or against this article?
Ms. Condon?
The Finance Committee does not expose who voted in what manner. If you are interested in finding the votes, you must attend the Finance Committee meeting. All I can disclose is that it was not a unanimous vote.
I know it's my third time, but
Point of
telling
order.
me to do it. It's good for
She's
us.
already spoken. She's already
Do we need to hear a second?
What?
Point of order.
Second point of order, kick me out of here.
Sorry. Second. You just need, she said she's up to many times, and then you just tell her to sit down and be quiet.
Please sit down.
Point of order, who's the moderator?
I don't get paid enough. All right, okay, so this.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Like a real question?
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe
Not about
a
the
fake
money.
answer.
I mean, the dog. So what is the process if there's a point of order? So someone hollers out point of order, but then you have to know.
The
it's
moderator, a
correct,
point of order
right?
is allowed, and the moderator acknowledges it.
But you don't vote on the point of order, right?
No, because a point of order is something like,
It's a point
that
of
person
order.
has spoken too many times, or I don't understand this, you're allowed to say, you're allowed to ask a
You know,
question.
but technically, you know, from the research I did for this role, is that the only time you can shout hold from your seat, typically point of order, you're supposed to come up to the microphone, which I find a little awkward, and I don't find that happening at town meeting.
So, yeah, people shout point of order, but then you're supposed to go to the microphone and explain what your point of order
Right.
is. But a point of order should be acknowledged,
Yes.
Even in the midst of Deb Shriver's going on to her genealogical history.
But it could seem confrontational if someone's up there speaking and then I have a point of order and I come up also
But
to
that's,
speak.
and that is, I mean, that's why it's only if they are breaking rules
Right.
that you should be, that you do that.
And that's why you should come to town meeting, because that's the entertaining part.
It is.
Okay, all right.
So are you satisfied?
Are you satisfied?
Point of order. I see we're at cross purposes here. Matthew Jaded, 36 on Plain, to see if we will authorize the select board. On a second Tuesday of next week, maybe. Is it something somebody wants to, by the way, I don't care whether there's a dog park or not. I have a dog, I like dogs. But when we authorize, I'm sorry, did I speak out of turn?
No, but what is your point of order? Or do you have discussion? It's not clear.
Discussion.
Oh, okay, so it's not a point of order.
I'm not upset.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand.
If we approve or ask the select board to approve 5,000 to
This is 10.
rehabilitate or restore the land, then a lot of the work is done for the dog park preparation already. So really, it's not $5,000, is it? It's 10,000 to build a dog park. So if you add the two numbers, I guess it really comes up to $15,000. That, I think, is obfuscated in the proposal of the two items. Thank you.
Someone's supposed to say call the question.
That's just part of the discussion, so now you can, does somebody have a call the question for Article
Yeah, someone's
19?
supposed to.
Or did we just run it to discussion?
I'm going on my script.
I don't know.
I wish somebody did, because I've got to come home. I second to call the question.
Oh, wait, I think somebody behind me.
My name's Melissa Thoreau, number 12 Greatwood Road. I'm against having a dog park. We enjoy the dogs just where they are. On the sidewalk, where we're passing by, we do not need a special place for the dogs to get together, or for ourselves to get together. That's it.
All right.
Emily Gaylord, Grave Street, I'd like to call the question.
Second.
All right. We're now voting on calling the questions. That requires 2/3 vote to pass. In favor? Yes.
She just grabbed it the way she It's really perfect. Right.
Opposed?
You guys want to keep talking?
The motion carries, the question has been called.
Recount.
Paper ballot.
Is this a real question?
It's a real question. So if that motion to call the question had not passed, could we go on discussing the dog park?
Yes.
So then it would be
Yes.
Okay, so now we're on voting of the article.
Nice.
So we're voting on Article 19 at this point. In favor?
In favor of Article 19.
How many in favor of Article 19? How many opposed? Motion carries. All right, a recount has been called. We need at least 7 people to support the motion for a recount. We have more than 7 people. Now, you have your cards that you were furnished. Please write yes or no on the card and hand it to the clerk who will come and collect them.
I'll be the clerk. I am your clerk. A yes means you're in favor of the article, and no means you are opposed. Article 19.
What are you collecting?
I'm collecting your votes.
Yellow card.
Put on the yellow card, a yes or no. Yeah, last time you used to go out on the municipal tape. Thank you. Oh, thank you, nicely done. Thank you.
I hate that.
Stab them.
That's reality.
I will redistribute the cards after they've been counted so that we can actually do, if we need to vote or whatever. We'll find out. And then everybody talks amongst themselves while the moderator keeps the count.
Stretching the time.
Everybody learning a lot. It's good.
That's how we I'm pretty sure it's our last pass.
It's not a million. Yeah, it's pretty Have you done this
I've counted them, I got one, and it just says us, reverse it, I don't know what that means.
That must be yes.
I don't know where that is. But the final count is 11 yes and 12 no. The motion fails.
I feel bad.
Right. We don't have the park, it won't have the snail farm or dog park on it. It will have a citizen's petition on it to become a climate leader, and also the senior center will be on the budget. That's pretty much all we know at this point.
To adjourn to the next.
Yeah, I know, I was going to do that after. As I'm sure you all know, this is a very challenging year with the various budget cuts. With that, I move that the meeting adjourn to meet at the polls in the meeting room at the town offices for the purpose of election.
Do we have a second for adjourn? Somebody's got it.
Second.
All right, vote to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming and supporting our effort to channel community interest into action.
Thank you.
Real question, I think. Well, it is one. I know it's a real question. Every single town meeting I've been to, which at this point is plenty, we go through the whole budget and there's almost no discussion and no questions, even though I would argue that our town finances are like the #1 thing people talk about outside of town meeting. And I guess I'm curious, and I don't know if this is the right place to ask this, how much discussion is really, like how much could be changed at the point of town meeting, and how worthwhile is it to get into the budget in this forum?
You know, I'll give you an opinion on, all the requests for the budget. I mean, some of them are just line items, and Timmy or whoever can correct me if I'm wrong. But then afterwards, any kind of requests that come from different departments in town come to the Capital Improvements Plan Committee, which I'm a member of. So we look at them. We have someone from the Finance Committee on and from other committees. We take a look at them and we prioritize according to whether it's a dire need, whether it's a matter of safety. If it already has a funding source, it's a heck of a lot easier. Like if we have CPA funding, it's almost like a pass-through. But then the other ones, we just give our opinions on and prioritize. We then send it to the Finance Committee, and that's when the Finance Committee and the Select Board do the heavy lifting. So it's gone over with a fine tooth comb, and by that time, it's pretty set. Unfortunately, if it's not passed, I mean, Tim, do you want to speak to that?
So.
Do you want to use the mic, Tim?
I guess. Odd thing, Tim Hilchey, 330 Greenfield Road. Odd thing is that you cannot raise an appropriation. You can lower an appropriation, but you cannot vote to put more money into something at town meeting, which is an odd quirk. I'm not sure why. And is that the, what else did you want me to answer?
But you can offer an amendment to reduce the amount.
Right.
Yes.
And have a discussion around that amendment. So say, I don't want any swings for people who are shorter than 4 feet, because it's a waste of money. Or so, whatever, and you get up and you make that argument. Sorry, James, I didn't mean it, really.
I think that's it. I think in that discussion, it's really important to talk about the repercussions of not fully funding on what's on the budget. And that's going to come to pass next year, more than likely, with other.
Right. So if something doesn't pass, then if the budget doesn't pass, then we have to go back through, probably have to have another special meeting. Or then we would come back with a plan to cut things, like say we have 10 police, we're going to get rid of 2 of them. And no dog officer, because we didn't build a dog park. Or we come with an override and say, we really need all these things, and we need to raise more money than we're allowed to under statutory law, and then we would be doing that.
But Emily's point was, all the meetings she's been to, this has never happened.
No one ever
People just
asked.
go,
But the other thing is too, if you really want to engage in getting a change in a line item in the budget or something, go to the finance committee meetings. Because that is where you'll hear them talking about in depth a specific line item, and you get a chance to open your mouth and say, I have a real problem with this line item for this reason, or I really support this line item for this reason. But you go to the finance committee meetings. But even if you invest the time to do that, you will find that in town meeting, most people have not done that, and so they will be debating the merits and the values of the money and questioning, so, which is good, I mean, that's what we're there for.
The reality is that this is not the finance committee's budget, it's the select board's budget.
Right.
And so you could come to the select board and in the public comment period of any meeting say, I noticed that you talked about the dog park, and I don't think 10,000 is enough. Or I think 10,000 is too much. And then we would take that up again, because what we do the select board and the finance committee, because it's more effective, meet together every Monday to discuss various budgets. And we tell everyone who comes in, Darius Medestyle, I don't know how to pronounce his name. We're supporting this tonight, but we reserve the right to come back to you and tell you we need to change things. Eventually, we reach a point where we can't change anything else before it goes. There's a period of time before a town meeting that has to pass so that the warrant can be published X amount of days before the meeting. And so something gets finalized at that point. And then you would have to be proactive with us as a citizen to go in and look and see what is the final figure about the thing you're concerned about. And then come to the meeting, preferably with a written amendment in your hands that's actually trying to reduce the budget, because you can't increase the budget, and do your thing.
So your point that she made, that Tim just addressed, I went to and have been to town meetings, and they're a first for me, having moved here from Ohio 4 years ago. But I had that same lack of understanding as to where these dollars come from. And in the case of a school budget or some other item like that, I had to console myself with people that investigated and did the accounting to come up with it, made an honest endeavor. And so I put faith in that number and I was willing to hold up the card for that. But there are others, as, again, you know, as I talked about the dog park and the baseball field, they're non-issues for me other than I'm glad to be here and participate in this. But subtleties and those sorts of things to me are important. But again, to go back to what Tim said, he explained a lot of the origins of the financing. It's still, I would think, be difficult for all of us to come up with yes or no for it. Very difficult. Thank you.
Okay, well, I would like to add that if you go on the town website, there's a calendar, and you can see that the Finance Committee, the Joint Finance Select Board, they have at least half a dozen meetings, and I'm not sure if they've listed on all of them, but they do list what they're going to be discussing. If you can't, you can watch it on Zoom, you can go there. If you say, oh, I missed that, you can look because Jonathan from FCAT is there and he is recording those meetings. So you can watch them. I watch them on YouTube. I watch a lot of meetings on YouTube.
Just a little brief note on that. So the town of Deerfield, they're recording a lot of their meetings. They're uploading them to their Zoom account or from the Zoom onto their YouTube page. They have set up. They send us some of the recordings.
Yeah. So you can go early on if you're really concerned. But the important thing is, don't wait to town meeting when you don't have a clue, and then go into Deerfield now and post. Why do they do this? If you're really that interested, talk to someone, come to a meeting, or look at it online.
There's a lot of people who get up and complain about their taxes. But at the town meeting, they have voted for the budget.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense to me because they just voted to raise their taxes if they went up. And so they shouldn't complain about it, and they should come and they should follow the procedure that we've talked about here rather than complaining at the next town meeting or whatever about their taxes being too high. And so if anybody is concerned about their taxes, that is the place to decide that, that during that budget process, when you're going to hold, because that's when that should be happening. That's the process. And before that, going to the meeting.
We have a meeting of the Select Board Finance Committee tomorrow, the following Monday, and then March 30th. And on March 30th, we'll be talking about the Senior Center proposed budget and the South County EMS proposed budget, both of which have significant increases. So if you're concerned about either of those issues, this will be a joint meeting of Whately, Sunderland, and Deerfield. Sunderland's in very difficult financial straits at the moment, and they're in a position that could happen to any town of having to pass an override just to be able to fund the budget that's being proposed this year. And if the Franklin Technical School is approved by 50.01% of the people in the 19 towns who go there, all of the towns will be required to fund it, whether you voted against it or not as a town. So that will probably push Deerfield, Whately, Sunderland into overrides. So doesn't mean we shouldn't build a technical school. I'm just saying that these are the types of things that people don't often think about before they go to the meeting and express their opinion like they actually know what's going on. And then afterwards they say, my taxes, my taxes. So it's an imperfect system, but it's the one we have, and it's probably better because each town gets its direct opportunity to say yay or nay.
Pam
had her hand up.
Can I just ask a follow-up? Where's the March 30th meeting? That's the joint meeting.
In Town Hall, Deerfield Town Hall. Yeah.
Okay, Pam had her hand up first, and then, oh, sorry.
Couple
Yeah,
of
behind
minor-
George.
No, that was my question.
Oh, good.
Okay, thank you.
Couple of minor things about town meeting if you've never been there before. When you walk in the door, and you'll be seeing the stage straight ahead of you to the auditorium. If you are a Deerfield resident, you need to sit in either that right-hand side or the middle side, because on the left-hand side, that's the place where people sit who are not residents of Deerfield, but who may have important information for the town. The best example I can think of is the superintendent, who may want to speak about why they're asking for so much money for education, or the principal, someone like that. Or possibly if our, I don't even know, if our director of the senior center has information, and if at some point they're not the resident of Deerfield, they can't talk to the town meeting unless town meeting, not the moderator, but town meeting says it's okay. And the moderator will say, we have so-and-so here to speak and so-and-so here to speak. Is everyone okay with that? And then people will vote about that. So that was,
I have to correct you.
Oh, good.
That's no longer true, because the attendance at town meeting has increased so much that people can sit anywhere. And we have the cards to indicate whether you don't get a card unless you're a resident and checked in. So you can sit anywhere, but to vote, you have to have a card.
But for people who are not residents of the town, the moderator will say, we'll call up a list of how many people can speak, that he's letting speak. Go ahead.
I came to Amherst when I left Pennsylvania because it had a town meeting. And I was active in the town meeting. This town meeting, I'm not so active in because I simply don't understand how the three towns interact in town meeting. The senior center is a typical example. Obviously, I'm a senior, I'm concerned. But I'm not understanding how to, where to be to voice before town meeting takes place, concerns or appreciation or whatever. And I mean, that's one item on the whole boodle.
Okay.
And I'd like to understand relationships.
I can try to answer
go
that. So there's South County Emergency Medical Service and South County Senior Center are regional services funded by 3 different towns. And so each town has the ability to vote on the proposed budget. For the first year, we are actually going to hold joint meetings of all 3 towns. But when you go to town meeting, you're only voting on Deerfield's portion of funding it. So for instance, if Deerfield wanted to fund the South County Senior Center at the proposed rate and we voted in favor of it, but Sunderland, because of their financial difficulties, voted against it, then there is a formula that says, okay, we have to review this. It's even more stringent. I'm not exactly sure what would happen if one of the 3 towns voted against the senior center, but there would obviously have to be a regrouping and discussion. In the case of the South County EMS, if one of the 3 towns votes to do something and the other 2 vote against it, or vice versa, it actually means that we have to consider dissolving the emergency medical service as it's currently constituted. So, you know, I don't know if that's helping you, Melissa, but basically it's like, when we vote, we're only voting for Deerfield, even though it's a shared service. And just like when we vote on, there will be a special election in October for the Franklin Technical School. They want to spend $250 million to build a new school. Deerfield's portion of that will be $20 million. And if we vote against it, but 50% plus one of the rest of the people who can vote for it, then we're obligated as part of that group to raise and appropriate the money to meet our portion.
When you talked about, I didn't know that people who weren't from Deerfield were sitting on the left side of the building.
But that's changed.
But that's been changed. But, so you're saying that it's a Deerfield vote on the money side of things for these operations, but there are people in the hall who are not from Deerfield and are voting.
They're not voting.
No, they're not allowed to.
And so only Deerfield residents can vote at a Deerfield town meeting. And you go in and you register and they give you your yellow or your orange or your green card, whatever it is that year. And only people with those cards can vote. And so even if you're from another town and you're just interested and you come.
And you can speak.
You can't be, unless you're recognized. And what happens generally is, I think Judy may have mentioned it, and the moderator says, in addition to residents, we are going to nominate Lisa Mead, will be able to speak on legal matters. Holly Drake, our new town accountant, will be able to speak on financial matters. So they identify all the people that they know about from ahead of the meeting who are not residents but who are authorized to speak for one reason or another. Somebody from Sunderland couldn't come, raise their hand and speak. And if they did, and there was a point of order and they fussed, then somebody would have to remove them from the meeting.
This is very interesting because actually it reflects the whole country, I think, that we've got this muddle at the very roots of our communities that, it's difficult to understand. And I'm still not clear about where I think my voice can only be heard at town meeting, but I'm hearing that actually it can be here at committee meetings and select board meetings.
Yeah.
And other towns nearby are speaking to their towns about whether they want or don't want to select a senior center or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's the point at which those voices have to come together that is so confusing.
I may have created confusion because, like, Sunderland, Whately.
Money is one thing, and then the other issues are another thing.
Yeah.
And so.
But at our annual town meeting, we'll only be voting to say Deerfield agrees to pay $100,000 to fund the senior center budget as proposed. We vote, Sunderland has the same. Sunderland is proposing to pay $75,000 for the senior center, and they and only their voters vote to say yes or no. Whately does the same thing. Usually we all agree. This year is a particularly difficult budget year, and so it made sense to try and save having 3 different presentations to 3 different communities, all about the same subject, with the various finance committees and select boards maybe duplicating questions, but not being aware of what the other towns are saying.
Yes.
So this meeting on March 30th will be an opportunity for all of those decision-making people, select boards, and the finance committees to ask questions together so they can determine that yes or no, this is not going to work for this reason. And maybe then they will get an opportunity to modify the senior center budget for one reason or another. Doesn't mean that the senior center is going to disappear. It just might mean that it's funded at a different amount than what the senior center is proposing. Same with EMS. But it's
true.
These are the 2 things that we have that are regional. Same way that the Frontier Regional School is a regional school. So but they're sort of obligated to fund things because of the regional agreement. So this is why it is a little confusing, but most of our budget is schools. You know, DES is a totally 100% owned
Yeah.
Deerfield thing, so that one's straightforward. Frontier is different because it's got 4 communities, and each of them votes on their portion of the Frontier budget, but the state requires a lot of, we as a town are required to spend a minimum amount on education, so we couldn't go below what the state requires us, but.
That's reasonable. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
It's,
All right.
thank you for your help, Tim.
If you talk more after.
Thank you, that's what I was going to say.
I just want to say one thing about town meeting in this town. It is not an elected town meeting. I was a member of, God help me, of the Amherst town meeting when I lived there. You had to be elected to even walk in the door. So only people who were elected could vote on things. I mean, you could walk in the door, but you couldn't vote on anything unless you were an elected member. And the thing I love about here, 2 things, is everyone who lives in this town has the right to walk in the door and to vote, and that's a big deal. And the other thing I want to mention is that I had an experience in town meeting where I had a citizen's petition, and I went to speak to the various committees that were involved in that decision, and I got turned down in 3 out of the 4 committees. No, they wouldn't vote for it. They told me that ahead of time. But I walked into Amherst town meeting, and I said, here's the deal. This is what I'm asking. Would you vote on it? And they passed it. And I was actually able to start an after-school program for my children in their elementary school so that I could go to work and not be on welfare as a single parent. That's why town meeting is very important. And I'm very sad that Amherst no longer has one, because now you're limited, they are limited to who can speak, and we're not in this town. And if there's anyone who has not been going to town meeting and you know about them, please talk to them, because it's important that enough people show up so that they don't start complaining other times when they could have come and had their say at town meeting.
Before we really end, I just wanted to make a point you brought up about taxes. There is a misconception that everything that is voted on is going to affect your taxes, okay? Some things are grant, for instance, the 1888 building, which Mr. Hilchey worked diligently on. $4 million earmark. We had money left over from ARPA that is then being used for 1888. We also have CPA money that is being used. Now granted, CPA money, we've already agreed that 3% of our tax bill goes to CPA, thank goodness, because we have it for historical preservation, we have it for housing, we have it for recreation. So is that building going to raise your taxes? No. So when someone says, oh my God, everything that's going on in town is going to raise my taxes, they're not correct, okay? Just want to put that out there. So not everything that's voted on is going to raise your taxes. And you know what, if someone says, say, will that affect my taxes? How will that affect my taxes? But not everything will. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would just like to say that our next community conversation is meet the candidates. So we do have representative government, right? And so hopefully here, Denise mentioned this at the beginning, but I want to make sure everybody comes because the candidates for all the different offices, assessor, select board, planning board, who else is up?
Moderator.
Moderator.
And
these are all elected positions, and what we'll do is we will have everybody that has signed up to come. Yeah, you've got to save the date on when you came in, but we do like a speed dating format where the candidates assume positions around the room, and you get to go and meet them for, depending on how many there are, 10 minutes, say, and just ask your questions of each candidate so that you can actually get to know them and have an idea before you vote. How about that as a novel concept? So next What's the date on April what?
26.
April 26th, at 3 o'clock. We have doors at 2:45, just saying. We're gonna start saying that all the time. But that is our next one.
It should be.
And we think it will be here, yeah. I think that's it.
No, I would like 2 volunteers to sit on the couch and read currents.
Oh.
So I can take your photo for the next issue. So whoever wants to.
I have questions. When you said that, you looked at things online and got that information, that's how you get information ahead of time. Is there any reason you're going to have to choose for me that I'm looking into what's going on here right now? When I was at the transfer station the other day and saw the villagers prepping the site for solar collectors, that's something you were involved with 2 or 3 years ago. When I didn't know about it, because I didn't hear that at that point, but to your point of paying attention via Zoom meetings or going to a meeting, you hear about it as it's occurring, rather than finding out on a surprise basis